It is one of my actual dreams to be a creative director for a K-pop group. Like, I have so many thoughts and ideas I want to see happen for not just my favorite groups, but also groups that don't exist yet, so this is going to be the first reimagining video about a group that doesn't actually exist. I think it's almost a year to the day since I actually started thinking about this concept, so as you can imagine, this is going to be a group that suits October. As you can tell from the title, the name of this group would be Black Cat. Somewhat inspired by Tell Me Now because I came up with this group around the same time I was thinking about my last video on Queen Is Na. Other inspirations include Dreamcatcher, Pixie, Purple Kiss, Pink Fantasy, AOA, Secret, and Miss A. So to start, this is a 5-member group. I generally prefer odd numbers when considering groups with a heavy performance focus unless they go into double digits, in which case I prefer even numbers. That's mostly to do with formations because I hate when one member is always the odd one out, having to stand behind someone else and basically be invisible so the choreo looks good. Anyways, slight rant aside, I decided to assign each member of this group with a stage name and an idol to represent them. I might make a few more of these kinds of videos, so for future references, the idols represent the kind of vocal tone, skill set, and mostly image I want the members to have, and there will probably always be a Luna member on the list. Black Cat, as stated, is made up of 5 members. I wanted to make sure they were all adults in their early to mid-20s, so I'll go over them in order of oldest to youngest. Up first is Dreamcatcher's Yoohyun. Yoohyun has always been my favorite voice in Dreamcatcher, and I truly think she is the perfect lead vocal. Her vocal tone is nice and full, but it doesn't stand out too much. She's a strong vocalist who knows how to make a part stand out, so she tends to have my favorite parts in Dreamcatcher songs. Due to that, I decided to have her represent Kati. The name is inspired by Hecate, the goddess of 3 faces. For her, symbols of 3 would represent her, such as triangles and the triple goddess, also known as the waxing full and waning moon.
Baby, please don't leave me. This night is long and lonely, so
This is the second video in a row to feature Eve in an imaginary group, but to be fair, the last group inspired this one and I limited myself to only include one member from Queen Is Na, and Eve just fit what I was going for the most. I have her as the leader, main vocal, and lead dancer. Eve is one of my personal favorite vocalists, so this may be a little biased, but she is beyond capable of being a main vocalist in many lineups. For the stage name, we're just reverting to the actual spelling of Eve. She would be associated with apples, trees, and snakes.
앞으로 쭉 몇 번의 희망과 그리고 또 몇 번의
The third member is our main rapper and another lead dancer. Everglow's EU joins the lineup as Nox. I'm not terribly familiar with the Everglow members individually, but EU is definitely a good rapper, and I think her tone would suit the sound I'm going for, as a vocalist too. Nox comes from the Latin word for night, so she would have associations with stars, the moon, and mists.
보기원 좀 달라 거침없어 so strong 잠깐만 쉬면은 찰나
Purple Kiss's Goen joins us as another vocalist. I knew I wanted a Purple Kiss member to be in the group since they're so good at versatile dark concept, and when I listened to Goen's solo cover, I knew it would be her. Although Swan stands out the most, Goen fit the lineup I already had in mind more. Not just a main vocalist, like Eve, she would also be a lead dancer. Called Ran or Raun, named after a Norse deity and personification of the sea. Due to this, she would be represented by water, marine animals, and storms in their videos.
저기 사라진 별의 자리 아스라이 하얀 빛
The final member is not just the youngest, but also the center, lead rapper, main dancer, and vocalist ITZY's Yeji. While she does serve the role of a lead vocalist in ITZY, I prefer her rap tone for this group, and I dislike how strange she has to be in the most recent ITZY songs. I would much prefer for her to be able to grow her prowess as a vocalist by taking on a more prominent role as a rapper first. Yeji represents Morgan, a derivative of Moregan, a deity from Irish mythology. Representing war and death isn't really feasible, so instead her symbols will include crows, crowns, and the color red. The Moregan is also a goddess of 3s, so Morgan, Nox, and Kati would most often be together.
다른 거다 지워 내가 the only one yeah 그냥 싹 지워 싹싹싹싹
So our final lineup is Kati, Eve, Nox, Ran, and Morgan, represented by Yoohyun, Eve, EU, Goen, and Yeji. I gotta say, I think this lineup is a collapse, and we should get them all on a special stage or performance. We start with a mini-album called The Omen. I decided to go with that since black cats are considered omens in most superstitions, that something bad is about to happen, so I think it just fits as the title of the first release. The mini-album opens with Kwon and B's Wave as the intro. Although it clearly serves the purpose of feeding into underwater, I just think the use of the dramatic strings is exactly what I want to open this group's discography. I chose Stellar's Marionette as the title track because I think it's an amazing song, and Stellar were a great group, but both were sabotaged by the concept the company forced onto them. I want to do them justice, so if I were in charge, I would lean into the doll imagery by having them made up like marionettes. The music video opens with a black cat going through a door in a very dark room that's clearly been abandoned for years. It passes by a broken porcelain doll on the floor, carefully passing through the shards. In a pile next to the doll is one of the members among a pile of other toys, discarded but not yet broken. On the dresser is another member in the form of a music box ballerina, think like Red Velvet's Feel My Rhythm concept photos. The choreography scenes feature them as marionettes with strings attached, like a dark version of this scene from Rookie. After the bridge, we see cracks beginning to form on their faces throughout the final chorus. As the first B-side, we have Wakimeki's Sweet Dreams, one of my all-time favorites. You may recognize some songs from this video as part of other projects, so this is where I admit the Black Cat discography existed first and I stole them from this project. Mostly it's because I wasn't planning on making this video until several comments expressed an interest in it. Following that is GWSN's I Can't Breathe, continuing the mysterious sound and darker subject material. Honestly, this song needs to be listened to be understood. This would definitely get a special performance video if I was in charge. Taking a more understated turn, we're greeted by i-dle's Put It Straight. Not quite a ballad, not quite a slow song, but definitely a dark atmosphere and not as high energy as the other songs, so it counts. I would make this the promoted B-side since I think it complements Marionette while also showing a very different side of them as performers. I also think it would highlight a lot of the strengths of the idols I chose as stand-ins. Closing the album is Girls' Generation's Villain. This song is slightly more intended to stand out so as to show their versatility and also to link better to the next release. I decided to put it after Put It Straight because I thought it would be a bit shocking, like you wouldn't expect this type of song. Also, it's a song that would actually let the rap members and vocal members get an equal amount of weight. It would probably go crazy during their first concert and be a song they would unexpectedly start including on their performance set list for stuff like festivals.
This is the way.
After that is a full-length album. I did consider splitting it into 2 mini-albums, but we deserve more full-length albums. We deserve effort being put into making bodies of work. We deserve effort put into our idols. Controversial opinion, I would be fine with a single album a year as long as it had 3 promotional periods. Pre-release, album release, and post-release. If they're not gonna do that, then I demand at least an album and a mini. However, I kinda ran out of songs, or at least I listened to a bunch of candidates and got tired, so I essentially ran out of songs. I have other projects to assign songs to. I literally have like 20 reimaginings already planned. Rest assured, there will be many more videos to come and many more songs to discover for both of us. The album will be called Bad Luck. I'm sure you can piece together why. I think after this album, they could start to branch out their sound a bit, venturing into perhaps more brighter B-sides, eventually pulling kind of a Dreamcatcher. Like, they very much kept their original sound elements, but the rock influence has mellowed and even been replaced by more EDM/electronic sounds in titles like Scream and Odd Eye. Bit of an aside, but anyways, Bad Luck. We're throwing it all the way back with our intro, Baby Vox's Intro 2. Honestly, never thought I would have a project where I could use a first-gen intro. It has that classic Y2K techno dystopia feel to it, but somehow I think it really works with the group and album concept. The first song on the album and the title track is the ageless Kill Bill by Brown Eyed Girls. Fully embodying the femme fatale concept, I think this music video should take on a vibe like i-dle's Señorita, CLC's Devil, and Red Velvet's Russian Roulette, then narrowly escaping death in more and more elaborate ways. A thematic continuation of Marionette, but this time they're punishing the other person for wronging them. I think at the rap bridge we would kind of morph into more of a tomboy music video influence, basically the parts with the dolls. Following that is Taeyeon's Love You Like Crazy, playing on similar vibes with a piano versus guitar compared to Kill Bill. I think I would have Kill Bill end with a tape rewinding sound to signal that we're rewinding back to the start of the relationship, kind of warning them that it's going to end badly. This theme of a toxic relationship continues into Uki's Bonnie and Clyde, As the title implies, the song compares the relationship to Bonnie and Clyde, the famous bank robbers and murderers. Don't romanticize killers, kids. The song is great though. I think it fully encapsulates the rush you can get from this kind of codependent, toxic relationship.
We don't need money to feel good, 'cause you're the ride or die the rest of my
Sunmi's Tale embodies the black cat the group is named after, a sultry and unmistakably dark song. I think this really captures the essence of the group I was creating. They're dark, they're mysterious, they're black cat.
거기까지만 네 뿔이 올라가는 소리야.
After Tale, we get i-dle's Maybe. I love the dark atmosphere and the contrast between the soft and bright pre-chorus versus the intense chorus. I honestly think this is going to be a song I'll turn to a lot when looking for dark inspirations. It is magnificently crafted in my opinion. In Twice's Hell and Heaven, we get the sort of feeling of being trapped in a storm. I don't know, something about the contrast in the chorus reminds me of an Eye of the Storm versus In the Storm vibe. I also love the sample from the old movie. I don't know what movie, but I love it.
별이 쏟아지는 밤, kiss me in the blue moonlight. 빨리
Blackpink's Crazy Over You has exactly the kind of blend of traditional versus electronic elements I want. I think this is a really underrated song for how popular Blackpink are. I'm debating if I want it to be in English or not, same with Bonnie and Clyde. What do you guys think?
I'm crazy over you. Over you, only you.
In Taeyeon's second feature, we have I Got Love. This sits at the same table as Maybe and Hell in Heaven, but like the heavier, darker sister. It's one of my all-time favorites from Taeyeon, and I think it perfectly encapsulates luxury and opulence. Before I even saw the music video, I associated this song with black and gold, art deco, diamonds, etc.
너를 헤매는 믿어지니.
The figurative cat gets out of the bag in Wonder Girl's One Black Night. It's definitely one of the more explicit songs in terms of lyrical theme. Honestly, this is one of my all-time favorite songs, and I just love the Reboot album. It's truly so great. In Changa's Stay Tonight, we're continuing the lyrical themes of One Black Night. This is very much a nighttime album, and I think it would make sense that each of the songs represents a time at night. So wouldn't it be cool if during the teasers they dropped track visualizers during those times, but not in tracklist order?
향기에 또 취하고
4 Minutes Cold Rain is the ballad, the slow song, the breakup. The lyrics talk about tears mixing in with rain and wonder if it's even worth it to love someone when it causes pain like this. I don't think 4 Minute get enough credit for their discography. There's a lot of hidden gems in there.
눈물이 뚜루루 특별히로 자꾸 흘러
Things take a turn again in Billy's Everybody's Got a Secret. Although I know the lyrics are talking about the secrets surrounding the disappearance of Billy Love and their lore, doesn't it just coincidentally fit so well with Billy and Kill Bill? I literally just realized that as I was writing this. Guys, nothing builds a better album concept than vibe matching. That is my conclusion.
Everybody's got a secret. 아무도 모르 like a dream.
The final full-length song of the album is 1NB's Stalker. They were taken from me too soon. But if they hadn't disbanded, I probably wouldn't have opened my heart to Luna. This is the part where I admit this entire concept group has basically been me trying to recreate my horror concept girlies. Not really, but I miss 1NB so much. Stalker and Where You At are too good, Your Honor. I don't care if they ate a man.
Like a fire. So hot. Like a fire.
The album ends with 9 Muses AM 3 o'clock intro. I considered it as the intro for both the Omen and Bad Luck, but I decided it suited better as the outro. I like the thought of it following Stalker, placing them in the middle of the night before the album loops back to them kidnapping and killing a guy. I really do miss these kinds of mature horror concept groups in K-pop. Genuinely not asking for any of the groups we have now to completely change their trajectory, but I am certain there are plenty of young women out there who would love a chance to chase their dreams past the age of 20. Like, there's this weird atmosphere in K-pop nowadays that if you haven't been training since you were 12 and debuted by 19, there's no place for you in the industry. And it genuinely makes me worried for the future of K-pop in terms of skill, because that means we're losing out on amazing talent like EXO's Chen and Baekhyun, who were both scouted at 19 and debuted at 20. Sorry, I started thinking about the 20-year-old on a survival show who said she felt she was too old to debut, like literal insanity. I think it's time for me to just end the video. I really hope some company will at least steal the basic concept and debut a group of actual over 19 adults. And stay safe this Halloween and this upcoming holiday season. And also stay tuned for Heejin's solo album K coming October 31st.